Yeah. Alexa, stop playing music. Music.
Music.
Music. No more music.
No más.
Hello, hello. We're out of practice now.
Back on our bullshit.
Back on that bullshit. Here we are.
We're skulling with water. That's weird.
Skull.
Skull.
But we took a shot before it started.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
We did.
Okay. So, where do we start? Okay, so I guess we can start with apologizing for our long break. But
Are we though?
we're not really apologizing for the long break because we needed the long break. And we'll get into why we needed the long break. But it was needed. We are refreshed-ish.
We here.
We here.
How are y'all holding up?
Yeah, we here for you. So,
where do we begin?
I guess let's get into it. So today is September 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Welcome to my new home. This is where I live now.
We neighbors.
We neighbors. I could literally see Alyssa's place from my front door.
It's like walking around New Orleans.
It's
great.
really amazing. We just walk to each other's places with fucking booze, beer, wine if you're
Wine.
Alyssa. Bring liquor, bring food.
Mm-hmm.
I brought whole pots of food.
We start in the witch commune.
Yeah, we start.
Everyone come to
Yeah, come
Charlotte.
here. Just come here. We'll just fill up all these little places. But yeah, so I'll get into why we took such a long break. Jareth's coming.
Come on, buddy.
You can get in the middle.
Come on, sweet boy. Come join.
Come get in the middle.
us. Oh, so
Such a
warm.
sweet boy.
He's been sunbathing.
I know, he's so warm. After I moved in, Alyssa was like, I never opened my front door, which I didn't really use my front door ever. And then one day I opened it because I was like supposed to get a package. And the cats like fucking love sunbathing because it's literally this square of just glory, warm sunlight, and they just fucking lay in it. And so now I just like to leave my door open because it makes them happy and it makes me happy to look over and see them so happy.
Do it for the kitties.
Do it for the kitties.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love my new place because it has so much natural light. Like it just feels so light and airy. But here's why I have a new place. So earlier this year, when Alyssa and I were recording, my husband at the time and I were going through quite a lot. And we actually separated in March of this year. So during COVID, we were quarantined together in our house that we bought, which was like a really kind of a tough experience, I think, for anyone to be in. So I took a break from recording and just felt like I didn't have the brain space to deal with anything at all, but just surviving day by day. I really just wanted to focus on getting myself to the place that I'm at now, where I'm living on my own, I'm independent, I'm happy, I got my cats, and I love it.
Yeah.
It just was a rough time. And I told Alyssa, like, we had plans a few times to record, and it was like I just couldn't think about anything. Like I couldn't focus. I didn't feel creative. I didn't have those juices flowing. I was just trying to better myself and keep working on myself and not let all the work that I did last year come to an end because my marriage was coming to an end.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything is fine. We had a very amicable separation. Sold the house. We're both living independently on our own. So it was a good experience. It was definitely needed. I have no regrets. But I did kind of want to explain why Alyssa and I took such a long hiatus, because it definitely wasn't planned. We recorded a couple times while I was still living there through Zoom, because that was at the very beginning when COVID started and we couldn't actually see each other. So we recorded a couple times, like through Zoom and everything, and it was fine, but it's just, those were all ideas that we had put together before everything really started happening. So then when we started trying to brainstorm, okay, what do we want to do now? What do we want to talk about now? It just felt like I couldn't bring anything to the table, and I didn't want to record anything when I felt like I wasn't completely invested in it. And then Alyssa and I had like a really good conversation about that, and both of us kind of realized that while the content that we put out there was stuff that we wanted to put out there, it wasn't necessarily just for us. It was for a lot of you out there. And at the end of the day, this is what we want to talk about, right? Mm-hmm. This is what we want to put out there. This is what we want to do. And we don't want to change our dialogue based on somebody else.
Again, it for me is kind of like sorry not sorry, you know?
Yeah.
Like everybody has so much going on in this world in this time right now, and it's there's value, I think, to like pushing through in that dedication, but also I feel like some of that hustle mindset is also very detrimental. You know, like
I think so too.
There's no point of just jumping headfirst into something just for the sake of saying that you did it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I know that when everything started popping off, honestly, for me, I've known for a long time how much I've put my personal mental health on the back burner.
Yeah.
I've been aware of it and I've been trudging through it. But it came to a point that it was like, there was, like, I had to sit in it. Like, we all have had to, you know?
Yeah.
And just the amount of tragedy, not just in the world, but in my personal life, over the past months has really made me sit in the shit and think about what is important. I mean, really, one of the lessons and things that I've gained from this time away and kind of just being in solitude and being in total awareness is like my filter for tolerating bullshit
is so low.
Is not there.
Yeah.
And it is so empowering.
It is.
And amazing.
It is.
That it's like, yes, I'm having to address my reactions to things and really like look at and perceive why I react to things in a different way, but it also feels really good to just feel.
Yeah.
I feel like I have for so many years layered diplomacy and professionalism and all these other things that I've been trained and kind of molded into, which are very beneficial in certain places and circumstances.
Yes. Situation.
But it has permeated
everything.
Myself.
Yes, it has.
So much that to shed that away, it feels like just this beautiful, vicious snake, just like shaking it off, you know, being like, I am here, I am raw. I am more vulnerable than I've ever felt, but at the same time, I am so much stronger.
Yeah.
And vicious.
And feeling that strength in your vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, like, I've always struggled with being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Always. I've always just walled myself off, put layers and layers and layers of bricks and concrete, whatever, in front of myself emotionally. And I don't have feelings, and I don't touch people, and
I'm not a hugger.
I'm not a hugger, and all of that bullshit. But in reality, I am a vulnerable being. And I feel strength in my vulnerability. And I feel strength in being and honoring my truth and who I am and what I require and what I need in my friendships, in my relationships. And it's been a tumultuous experience, but it's been very empowering. And, you know, when you and I had talked about recording and filming, I had a lot of guilt. I carried a lot of guilt for not recording, because this project that we started working on, it was something that gave me so much hope and made me feel more like myself than I felt like myself in a really long time. And knowing that I can't do it right now.
It wasn't all your fault.
I
though.
know.
It wasn't anybody's fault.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I mean, you made me realize that, because, you know, we talked about it multiple times and I was like, I just feel so fucking guilty that I can't do this right now. And you're like, how fucking dare you feel guilty when you're taking the time for yourself that you need. You need this time. And it made me like release all of that.
Good.
It really did.
And I mean, even I feel like our relationship and the way that we have conversations with each other has changed so much for the better of this time too.
Yes.
It's become the way that, and I don't want to speak for you, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the way that both of us are engaging in the human experience is changed for the better in dropping the layers of bullshit.
Dropping the layers of bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the name of this episode.
Dropping.
drop. But I mean, honestly, like, I feel like our friendship has grown so much over the last 6 months than what it ever has been. And it's purely because we're not lying to ourselves and we're not lying to each other. And we're being completely and honestly open and vulnerable with each other. Unfiltered. Whether that means, hey, I need my space today, or hey, when you say that shit, it makes me want to fucking shake you.
The shake party.
The shake party.
Well, and I think too, I mean, it's only been, a few weeks since you've been here, but it's like, that has been a whole nother, like, test of, it's funny because we'll both be sitting on the couch and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna give her space, and then I'll get a little Marco Polo and I'm like, hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to hang out? But we're able to read when it's like, no, like.
Yeah, and I don't feel guilty.
Yeah.
I don't feel guilty being like, hey, I just really want to lay on my couch with my cats today.
And do nothing.
And do absolutely nothing. And I know that you also don't have that problem. And I shouldn't speak for you, but I feel like we're at the point now where if you don't want to fucking do anything, you're just honest and you're like, hey, no. Not right now.
No bullshit.
No bullshit.
No bullshit.
Dropping the bullshit. God, I want to just show you Jarek right now because he being a sweet boy.
Where's my phone? Give me my phone.
Give me my phone. Oh, whoops. Why do our phones look so much alike?
We'll take a picture for y'all.
Joe, go back to sleep.
Cause it's
so
sleepy. So sweet. Alright, I'm taking my boots off.
Take them boots off.
You want my shoe coins jiggling? Jingling.
Jingle my shoes off too. Getting comfy.
Alright, so what other lessons do you feel like you've learned during this time?
What other lessons have I learned? To be easy on myself.
Yeah.
Because I've always held myself to the standard that, and I feel like a lot of people do that. A lot of people hold themselves to that standard of, I should be able to do this, right? I'm a perfect person, or I'm a strong person, so I should be able to do this. Being strong has nothing to do with doing every single fucking thing that you want to do in a day. Has nothing to do with it.
Shadow
work. So one of the things that I started doing when I did so much shadow work was I created this new practice for myself, like a new daily practice, just to keep myself in tune with who I am and what my needs are, and keep myself connected to my practice. So I started doing a card pull every night. Yeah, and I loved it. I loved really spending that time to focus on developing this new practice that I've never really had a huge connection with, but also a way to keep me connected to what else is out there. The others, my goddess, whoever felt like giving me a message, my ancestors. And I took a break.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped doing my card pull every night. And I started up again last week.
Tell me about it.
So, one, I did a whole spread when I started back. But I kind of had felt guilty that I had stopped
doing
right?
it. Yeah.
Like, who are you? Why are you doing this? Like, this is something you enjoy. Why aren't you doing it right now? I didn't have the mental space for it. I just didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I journal every night about like my tarot card pull. So I pulled everything out. I pulled my journal out, pulled my cards out, and I opened everything up. And the last time I had journaled was May. And I had a moment of like, damn. But I flipped to the new page
Mm-hmm.
and was like, you needed that time. You feel so much better now than you did back in May.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this shit going.
Did you reread what you wrote?
No.
In your last entries?
No. I should have. I
You
should have.
still could.
It's not like I threw it away. It's still upstairs. No, that's a good idea though.
I wonder to see like the difference between where you were then to now, like
And
to hear your voice. You know?
It's funny because even when right before I took the break, I remember like my readings got a lot lighter. Like
Yeah.
it felt like I was going through so much shit. So every card pull was like, you're in the shit, you're in the shit, you're in the shit, you're in the shit, you're in the fucking shit.
By the way, did you know you're in the shit?
And I'm like, I would just laugh. Like, I would fucking laugh. I would be
Yeah.
like, yeah, this shit. But towards the end, like, I would say, not even end of April, like, I would say throughout May, my card pulls got a lot more like, yes, you're learning.
Yeah.
Find a teacher. Do this. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, this feels a lot better.
Let's soften up on her.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
going through enough.
She's going through some shit. I don't know if you guys heard about it. So yeah, it's been beautiful to like reignite that passion in myself again. And when I picked back up, I did like a full moon spread because I actually picked up the night of the full moon, which I was so out of touch. I was like, just flipping through stuff. I'm like, oh, tonight's the full moon. Wow.
Surprise.
One, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Two, let's do a fucking spread.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was great. And to be able to re-put into practice something that I enjoy so much has been a wonderful experience.
Well, let's talk about that shit.
Was she?
The guilt thing.
Oh God. My whole life
Like,
is
why-
fucking guilt.
Yes. But we all do that. I feel like in our practice, though, we go hard on that guilty shit on ourselves.
We
you
really
know?
do.
It's like, yes, of course you enjoy doing witchcraft.
Yeah.
Of course you enjoy your rituals and your practices and your card pulls and doing full moon cleansings and cleansing the house and all of these things. And it's like you miss it once and you're like, I'm the worst witch in the world.
In the entire fucking world.
Quit that shit. I'm telling myself that.
Like,
In
everyone.
the camera. And you.
Everyone
And
did that shit. Yes. If you fake it because you don't feel that energy.
You're putting scatter shit.
Yes. And you are doing a disservice to yourself and to your own practice.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you need a break, take a fucking break. I think out of anything that COVID has taught us, it's like, take a fucking break.
Mhm.
And be okay with it.
Mhm.
I feel like we're all just moths in our cocoons right now, and we're slowly working through some shit as a fucking world, community, country, whatever.
Yeah.
We're working through some shit. Take it easy on yourself. Everyone is learning. What have you learned during this whole experience?
What have I learned?
You learned some shit.
I have learned some shit, and honestly, it feels like it's just been nonstop piled on me. That it's kind of hard to sit down and be like, okay, how do I break these things into lessons? Because it's been one fucking thing after another.
Yeah.
It's been loss. It's been illness. It's been family, it's been heartache, it's been just uprooting and shit that I would never expect. I mean, none of us ever expect tragedy, you know?
No.
But, like, just layers upon layers of sadness. And kindness. Not only to myself, but I feel like I've become more kind to people around me, or at least I hope I have during this time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I have the tendency to react to others in the same way that I've treated myself till before this.
Yeah.
Of pull your pants up.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're going through a hard time. Here's a little pat, 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 but come on.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've got shit to do.
And it is showing me, it has shown me how to be kinder to myself and kinder to others in that way of having more patience.
Yeah.
Maybe patience is a better word.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I just got done saying that, like, my filter for bullshit is, like, par none, but it's not in a way of, like, you're pissing me off, get the fuck out of my face. It's I'm irritated. This is why I'm irritated. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I love you. Let's have a conversation.
Yes. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Like, I think that relationships, friendships cannot grow unless we have that open conversation.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the shit.
Mm-hmm.
And if we stop talking about the shit, or if we're afraid to talk about the shit, there will not ever be change.
Mm-hmm. And Libra here, I like to think that I'm not uncomfortable with confrontation.
Yeah.
Because I'm good at having difficult conversations.
You are.
In certain places.
Yes.
Learning to have those in my close relationships has been harder.
It's
for me
harder
because I don't want to hurt the people
exactly.
that I love so deeply.
Because they're the people that you don't really care about as much. They don't have such a personal conversation, like a personal connection with. It's easy to have tough conversations with them because you can walk away.
Yeah. There's an out.
There's an out. But when it's someone that you love, there is no out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you just have to sit in the shit and be okay with hurting someone's feelings in order
for there to be growth.
There to be growth.
And I feel like I've noticed, I'm shifting around a lot, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Just getting comfy.
Just getting
comfy on this new couch.
Couch comfy.
Yeah. But I feel like I've seen how detrimental it is to not have those conversations, and it's given me more fuel to the fire to want to engage in those, you know?
Yeah.
And to know that it's okay for me to say, this is what I think.
Yes. And that opens up this whole other thing, like, why are we so afraid to say what we think? Why? Because I feel like a lot of people do that. I'm afraid to say what I think a lot of the time. No one can tell you you're wrong in what you think. It's your opinion. Oh my fuck.
Oh my fuck.
Oh my fuck. What is this, like shadow work? 2020 part.
I just realized how perceptive we were at the beginning of the year. Because we started calling everything CryFest 2020.
Yeah.
Little did we fucking know.
How much of a cry fest it actually fucking was.
I just made that connection.
Yeah. No.
Did we
2020, no.
Did we do this?
No, you remember when we had that conversation? I don't remember if it was when we talked to Mika or if we had that, the other time we had our Zoom conversation and we were like, you know, all these witches out here, like, I want time for myself to work on myself more and like grow my craft. And then COVID was like,
Gotcha.
Yeah. And speaking of that, like, because, you know, earlier we talked about guilt. I feel like at the beginning of COVID, like, everyone was like, okay, we're going to take this time, do all this, we're going to do all this work on ourselves. Like, maybe I'm going to come out of this with, like, a banging bod, like, maybe. But you know what I mean? That was like what people were thinking. Like, oh, I've got all this time, like, either I'm working from home, or if you're lucky, which I have been, because I've been working from home since early March, and I'm probably going to continue working from home for the rest of the year into next year. But not everyone's been so lucky. But with all this free time that everyone's had, people were like, oh yeah, we're gonna do all this shit.
Which just shows you how conditioned we are
Yes.
to constantly go.
To constantly
Yeah.
hustle.
Mm-hmm.
When at the end of the day, like, I got
Why?
one, why? 2, I have the COVID-20. 3,
Or 30 or 40.
or 30 or 40, I don't know. I got a new scale, it's still in the box
Ask
upstairs.
me. Oh my.
But be easy on yourselves.
Yeah.
This has been probably the toughest time that we've been through as a country in decades.
Yeah.
In decades.
100 years.
Yes.
Or more.
Or more. Be easy on yourself.
Mhm.
No one should feel guilty because we've fucking, at me, rolled up in a fucking blanket on the couch like a burrito
Mm-hmm.
and been like, I'm just gonna hide here for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. However you need to work through what everyone in this world is going through right now, be easy on yourself.
But keep working.
But keep working.
This is what I mean by that.
Yes.
Like, yes, you don't have to go hard full force. You don't have to wear yourself out. Take the time to rest.
Yep.
Being involved in your practice does not mean necessarily doing things.
Yeah.
Like, be aware. Even just like the self-awareness to sit down and be like, oh, well, my reaction, my emotional, my physical reaction to the situation just happened. That just happened. Like, why did I have that reaction?
Mhm.
Shadow work sometimes is just a conversation with yourself.
Yes. Just sitting
It's
down
not,
with yourself and feeling your emotion.
yeah. It doesn't have to be a full ritual that you put together.
Yeah.
Self-awareness, know thyself which. That is a practice in itself.
It is. It is. And really taking that time just to sit with your emotion and understand why you're feeling that emotion.
Yeah.
Like, that's work. That can be done while bundled up in a
On the
blanket
couch.
like a burrito.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, it's a balancing act, isn't
It
it?
is.
All always.
It's always a balancing act.
Mhm.
Do you have anything else that you want to talk about before we wrap up?
I don't know. Don't think so. Kind of want a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got one in there for you.
Okay. You're the best.
You're the best.
You're the best.
You're the best. Well, we're back. We'll be here.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
We missed y'all.
Huh?
Sorry. I just
Yeah.
take off. We missed y'all.
We do miss y'all. We miss y'all a lot. We miss the conversations. We miss talking to you. Alyssa and I are taking it easy on ourselves. We're not going to hold ourselves to releasing something every couple of weeks. Maybe we release more than that. Maybe we release less than that. It is, what do we want to talk about?
Mhm.
What do we want to talk about with you? And taking the time to not feel guilty for that. But we are back.
We back.
We back. And we're going to be recording.
Yep.
And we're going to
As
have...
neighbors.
As neighbors, I can literally just turn the camera around and just point it right at your place.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have some drinks,
Mhm.
and we're gonna talk about what else we want to do for you guys. So,
And for us.
and for us,
For the community.
for the community that we are striving to create.
Yes.
So,
But for real, there's open apartments around here.
yeah, for real.
Come join our.
Yeah.
Come join our.
Come
coven.
join our Charlotte, North Carolina. Y'all, don't forget
Like and subscribe.
and leave a comment down below if you'd like to join the conversation.
Let's go.
Skull. Bye.
Bye.